Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here with all of you today. Oops, already moving forward. And for the opportunity to speak about the Coalition's work in developing an operational research roadmap to simplify Hep B care in low and middle income countries. My first task here today is to ask anyone with a phone and a camera can take a QR picture here and download the full report as I speak. I won't have time to go through all the detailed tables, but would love for you to have an opportunity to go through that either during my presentation or on your way home today from the meeting. The QR code's on the next slide as well if you want to capture it there. Given that we're at a viral hepatitis elimination meeting, I'm not going to go into the background on hepatitis B. I think everyone in the room realizes the massive global health threat that hepatitis B poses in the world. Approximately 300 million people infected, vast majority living in low and middle income countries. And we know the paltry numbers of diagnosis, linkage to care, and treatment around the world, which is magnified in low and middle income countries. I think one of the key points over the last 24 hours of the meeting, we're seeing expanded treatment criteria, which could potentially lead to up to 3 times more people eligible for treatment. Expanding Hep B treatment criteria will put additional pressure on already under-resourced healthcare systems in low and middle income countries. And along with that, I think we have the obligation to provide strong evidence-based models of care delivery for countries that are looking to expand treatment criteria. However, as we saw yesterday as well, evidence on hepatitis B care delivery is extremely limited in LMICs. We at the Coalition conducted a rapid scoping review of the literature over the past 10 years in LMICs and found only 56 studies that looked at interventions for hepatitis B care and delivery in LMICs. And as we saw from Philippa's presentation yesterday with the global systematic review, very few models of care, although there are some, but very few that are actually measuring the impact of specific interventions for hepatitis B care. Seems to be advancing on its own. And we also know that funding for hepatitis B research lags behind other global health threats quite dramatically here compared to conditions such as HIV and malaria. So we could postulate interventions that could be used across the care cascade, extrapolating from the good practice principles that have been employed for HIV, for hepatitis C, and that have worked so effectively in response to those epidemics. And we could think about those across the care cascade here. And I think as we have programmatic experience and clinical experience to know that those will be worthwhile interventions, while rolling out those interventions to improve care delivery, can we also measure, tweak, improve, and really demonstrate highly effective and efficient models of care for hepatitis B? So with that question in mind, over the last 12 months, the Coalition embarked on developing a operational research roadmap to actually inform hepatitis B care delivery in LMICs. We started by interviewing key experts, many of you in the room, around research priorities and research needs for hepatitis B care delivery in LMICs. Convened a focus group at APOSL in February. And then in May of this year, convened a 2-day workshop in Atlanta at our headquarters at the task force involving these 36 individuals from all around the world. And we really, together, identified operational research priority areas, key questions. Sorry, this is on an automatic advance, so I have to keep backing up. Or maybe it's somebody telling me to go faster, but I hope not. So together we identified research priorities and key questions for research. We described in detail high priority research studies that these experts would like to conduct in their own contexts. We assessed existing and needed research capacities to actually deliver and execute these research studies. And then finally discussed opportunities and really challenges for engaging policymakers and national programs in operational research in real time. So if we look back at those discussions that we had through the interviews, through the focus group, through the key expert workshop, these 4 research priorities really bubbled to the top when thinking about operational research for hepatitis B testing and treatment in LMIC contexts. The first was around simplifying delivery models to ensure decentralized, equitable access for testing and treatment. Priority number 2 was improving interventions to eliminate mother-to-child transmission, very similar to what we saw this morning in the presentation from Nigeria, operational research to show feasibility around TDF prophylaxis for pregnant mothers in a very rural context in Nigeria. Priority 3 around developing and operationalizing technologies for simplified care delivery, point-of-care testing, novel biomarkers, readiness for functional cures, all within that category of potential research studies. And then finally, in priority area number 4, how can we detect early on individuals who are at higher risk for progression to fibrosis or liver cancer based on local epidemiology or risk factors? So I'm not going to go through these tables for every priority area. I just want to flash this to show that this is what's available in the report. We went through each priority area, listed out key questions that the experts had and operational research questions that they would like to explore, and then which design specifically, what type of studies would they execute in their own context to be able to answer those research questions, anywhere from formative research to implementation science and observational studies to randomized control trials. So just moving through those 4 priorities there, and then bringing it all together in a simplified roadmap. How can we define key actions to get us there? So the first action that we identified and put forward in this roadmap, you can see on this top parallel road, is actually executing these studies by establishing a coordinating center, a central coordinating center that can actually identify potential study sites, can issue an RFP, can provide mentorship, monitoring, evaluation for high quality, rigorous research studies. Action number 2 is linking those research studies to national programs, ensuring that operational research is embedded within national hepatitis infrastructure, and that can actually affect programs and policies in real time. Action number 3 around ensuring long-term sustainability of operational research for hepatitis B and LMICs by strengthening study sites, investing in research infrastructure, supporting training of staff, building a community of practice across study sites. And then finally, bringing this all together and making sure that research findings are really disseminated effectively and can be used to advocate for policy change, which is our ultimate goal here. Now, of course, this will require resources, and we did not intend for the roadmap to be a document that lives on shelves gathering dust. Rather, we wanted to pair this with a very practical preliminary budget that could be used and leveraged as a starting point for conversations with potential funders or donors to bring more visibility, more attention, and ultimately more resources to this space and directly to researchers in LMICs. We made some preliminary assumptions, and the QR code is right here. Again, if you want to look at the detailed assumptions that we put into the preliminary budget analysis, which we want to keep open and transparent and open for feedback. We assumed 16 research studies across 10 countries over 4 years, so quite ambitious, with embedded resources for those different actions that I mentioned: national program engagement, long-term sustainability through research capacity building, dissemination and policy change. We have an estimate of approximately 24 to 35 million USD over 4 years, which is a starting point for conversations with potential funders. And again, we hope that this is the prime potential output or impact of developing this roadmap is really bringing new contributors, new collaborators, and new funders to the space of operational research to draw more attention to these potential model programs and to build an operational research evidence base while reaching individuals who need care and treatment now. As Danjuma put it yesterday, can we do this research while putting medications into people's stomachs that need that care immediately? So thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you. We'd like to work on this together and engage as many people as possible in considering this roadmap as a guide to building that evidence base for the future. So thank you very much.